You're listening to Winnipeg's Classic 107. My name is Simon Rusnak. This weekend, in partnership with GroundSwell, Flipside Opera and Artsong Collective present the premiere of Bloody Jack, inspired by a remorseless and sensational true-life Winnipegger's story. To learn more, we've reached composer Michael Matthews and pianist Laura Lowen. Hello to you both. Welcome back to Classic 107.
Hello.
It's wonderful to be here.
First things first, we got a little bit of a Des Hotel Faculty of Music reunion thing going on here. Michael, you were a longtime professor at the U of M, retiring back in 2012. And Laura, you're a current associate dean. Laura, what's it like working together with a project on with Michael?
Well, it was fantastic. Michael's wrote a piece for me and my saxophone duo partner years ago. So we already had a really wonderful relationship. And then this was amazing. And most of the work was done by video because we did a lot of the rehearsing at times when we couldn't be in the same room with somebody. And, our comfort with Zoom made all of this possible. And we had a lot of meetings with Michael. He was in Berlin. We were here. So yeah, it's been a real labor of love for everybody.
And Michael, as Laura just alluded to, Berlin is now home for you, though, for many, many years. You were based here in Winnipeg. You must enjoy reconnecting with the city and colleagues and friends and having your music performed, right?
Yeah, it's great to be back. I really enjoy seeing everybody again. I've already got some dinner dates lined up, and yeah, so it's nice to be here. And I was hoping that I'd get here just before the snow hit, but couldn't quite make it.
Well, you know what? I was going to say we rolled out the red carpet, but it's more of a white carpet with the amount of snow that's on the ground here. Yeah. Well, this latest premiere of yours, titled Bloody Jack, inspired by the crime-ridden life of Jack Kravchenko, an early 20th century Manitoba outlaw. Michael, how did you come to learn of Kravchenko and his fascinating life?
Through Dennis Cooley, my very good friend and former colleague at U of M. I've known Dennis for forever somehow. And since I first went to U of M, because I've always had an interest in poetry, and I got in touch with him quite early in my time there to ask for permission to use some of his poems to set. And I've set Dennis's poetry multiple times over the years. So I know about Jack from his book, Bloody Jack, which came out in, I forget exactly, 84 or no, later than that. Anyway, don't quote me on that date.
I'll look it up.
1984, you got it right. I had it queued up, 1984.
So that's how I found out. And I kind of sat on that book for a while. And after Laura and Dawn did a song of mine for my retirement lunch a number of years ago, which was also a setting of Dennis's poetry. We all talked about the possibility of me writing something bigger for them. I love the way they performed together, and as Laura mentioned, we've worked together several times on different projects, the sax piece and my chamber opera, and yeah, so that's how I got to know about Jack.
Well, can we talk a little bit more about Jack? Would you mind sharing just a few details on his life, as you say, set in poetry by Dennis Cooley, another U of M professor? It's a series of sort of not connected poems, right? They kind of take us through the life of Jack.
Yes, the book is really a series of, and series is not even really the word, it's a collection of poetry, which one way or another somehow reflect imagery, reflect facets, reflect possible facets of this character and his milieu and the world in which he lived. And so I picked, there are way more poems than one could possibly use. So I picked 14 of them to set.
And then Laura, rather than have Michael characterize his own music and describe it to us, would you mind telling us a little bit about this song cycle that he produced for you and Dawn Brooke-Weens?
Of course. And we're just doing 5 of them. So this project is just 5 of those 14 songs. So, I mean, Michael's music is evocative. It's beautiful. It's really lyrical. And he uses rhythm in a really, really interesting way. And we love the way that he sets the words. And so the songs that we chose, although they're just a small portion of it, we tried to create kind of a dramatic arc through them. And as Michael was saying, the poems, and it feels to me like the music too, I always feel like Jack is just kind of around the corner. Like it's about the world that he lives in more than what he actually did. Although, you know, some of them are about him and his wife, but it's so interesting because it's like, it's so evocative, and it feels like you're kind of capturing this world that doesn't exist anymore. And Michael's music does that so beautifully. And so we can't wait to do the whole song cycle. We're hoping to be able to do it live in a year or so.
Yep.
So
can you tell us a little bit more about this world that Jack inhabited, Laura? I mean, this is early 20th century. He, the son of immigrants who lived a rather colorful life of bank robbery and a time gone by. Can you tell us more about that?
Oh, in the music, or you mean? Okay, well,
both, and how it materializes in the music.
Well, at the beginning, the first piece is called In February, and it's about, well, we know we're living it right now, about that cold and the sounds that are coming at you from everywhere, and just that kind of otherworldly feeling that you have when it's so cold. And then there's one piece called Pastoral, which is like the most beautiful thing I've ever played, and it's about a crow eating like another animal. And so the imagery is and the music are so interesting. They're so different. So we just perform it from the crow's point of view instead of from the point of view of somebody watching this. And then there's a piece about Jack kind of fantasizing that his wife is crocheting his death shroud. And then the last piece I've actually performed from different composers called By the Red. And it's like Jack he said it in the Headingley jail. He wasn't in the Headingley jail, but him in jail trying to reach out and talking about his experience. Well, Michael, do you want to say anything more about those songs? That was very brief.
No, I think that's pretty good description. The crow one, you mentioned it's a very dark image of the crow eating entrails from another animal, but I said it in a very contrary way, in a sense, to make it beautiful and evocative. And the February song, I really tried in that to somehow convey the tingliness of winter and of ice and frozen things, which is what that poem evokes. The Red River song is, there are many folk song versions of that. Down by the River is another one. And I kind of alluded to that folk song history in this a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what it sounds like is, of course, in addition to being some wonderful text setting and being inspired by the text, this is just going to be a multifaceted experience. You get to immerse yourself in this music, not only through the performance, but also with videographer and director Aidan Ritchie producing a video production of the work. And then also we're going to have a historian there to tell us a little bit more about his life, Kristen Troich. It sounds like it's going to be absolutely captivating and something that is going to fascinate not only art song lovers and new music aficionados, but also history buffs and true crime fans. Everything sort of coming together in this production. Does that sound right?
Sounds right to me. I think there really is something there for everybody.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting to work on a project with so many amazing creative minds in it, and everyone sees a different part of it, right? And so that I know that the work that we were doing was inspiring Aidan, and certainly what he was talking about, because he was there for all of our recording, and then we did some work with him after. And we just kept inspiring each other to see other things in the piece. And I haven't seen the film yet. I just can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be fascinating. There's a really good, Michael, I don't know if you saw it in the Flipside's, one of their latest promos. There's a picture of you when you're talking in it, and it looks pretty spectacular. So
good. That's great.
You look a little scary, I got to say, but very interesting. Yeah.
Well,
Right,
you know,
another
people.
side of my personality.
Well, people are just going to have to check it out. The live premiere takes place Friday, November 19th, 7 p.m. With a creator panel discussion, which is going to be great. And then a second performance takes place on Saturday, November 20th, down at Little Brown Jug. Seats are $20 and limited seating, I should say. So don't hesitate. Laura, Michael, thanks for taking the time to chat with me at Classic 107 today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.